The unraveling, in my language and in the language of the whole being evolution map as well, is the falling away or the dissolving of this orientation to life, which had us seeking and fixing and attracting. Yeah. Must get this. So the ideal is something that you mentioned before. The ideal is something out there, right? And we're after it. Yeah. And it has this relationship to the core that is unconscious, to what Samuel differentiated, and which we've continued to recognize, of the core and the core condition. And in that core, something doesn't feel right. Okay, something doesn't feel right. Some of you will have gone through this, or some of you still relate to it. Something doesn't feel right. Something inside doesn't feel right. And we interpret that, I've got a slide on this for later on, as there's something wrong with me, there's something wrong with you, there's something wrong with the world. It's an engine that derives from this uncomfortable existential angst, but a lot of the time this is underneath. Yeah, it's there underneath with shame and guilt and unworthiness, these profound dimensions of our subterranean nature. And when we're unconscious in this zone, yeah, it elicits from us a drive, yeah, a drive outward to find the savior, yeah, to fix the situation, to attract what we need. Yeah. So we're seeking, this video, this teacher, this person. How can I bring this beautiful being into my life? I'm not okay without them. Yeah. I need to fix this about myself. For example, one of the painful things that people experience when a relationship breaks up, maybe the most painful thing about rejection, is that when I'm rejected by someone, I reject myself. Because I say, what do I need to do to make myself more attractive to this person or to anybody? How can I tweak, adjust, pretzelize myself to put myself and make myself into a form that something tells me, maybe the other person tells me, I need to be in order to be okay and in order to attract love or be successful in life. Yeah. So that is a massive engine, yeah, evolutionary engine. It's not a mistake, it's not wrong, and it's just like a juggernaut steaming down the track, right? And those of you that know this energy, we all know this energy, maybe we aren't conscious of it, know what it's like to be in this runaway train of need, you could say, of demand, of I must have, and it's a propellant. Yeah, propulsive power. And we're going for it. And this shows up in people's lives in addictions, for example, where they're just chasing. That's the term that people use in Australia. Maybe you have it in the US too. I'm chasing my next hit, chasing the heroin, chasing the whatever. And it's a potent movement. And it's outward. It's moving outward, yeah. And then suddenly something happens with some of the clients that I've worked with in addiction treatment, because they're forensic clients, they find themselves in a jail cell. Nowhere to go. No library to find books, no drugs, nothing. And suddenly they have to fall back just a little inside, and they have these little awakenings, sometimes in a jail cell. And that is a moment of the unraveling. Yeah? And for some people, it's dramatic. It's a crash and burn of epic proportions in which they are incinerated or excoriated, like having the skin flayed alive. But that engine is so powerful that for our attention to go back into the core requires a profound set of circumstances that make that available. And when it's not available, it's not. You might have friends, you say, oh, I've heard about this Trillium business, and they go, not interested, or whatever. They're just not yet in that space, and maybe they'll find their nourishment somewhere else. But here, more or less, we are becoming available to meet discomfort, meet that fundamental inner discomfort that's had us on the run for centuries and millennia. And green lighting is the doorway, because green lighting is the antidote to fixing, to all the tweaks and adjustments and modifications we've been making to ourselves to try and feel okay about this, about me, about self. And you can try on the idea of self-acceptance, but it doesn't somehow yet touch the core. So with green lighting, when we have something that we don't like, I'm watching too many videos, or I drink a little too much, or I eat too much, we're free to want to engineer our circumstances for our well-being, but we're also able to allow ourselves to be who, how, what we are right now, including the too many videos, or the too much chocolate, or the whatever that somehow touches the something doesn't feel right quality, something wrong with me, something needs to be done. And then we can continue to drop, because we're not resisting or pushing away what is simply true. We're being with what's here. What's here is, I ate a lot of chocolate today, or whatever it is. It could be bigger than that or smaller. I'm an angry person. I got angry. How can I solve that one? Well, first of all, we want to meet it. First of all, we need to meet it. Without a solution, irremediable. That meeting happens here. And in groups in the way that Jeff was describing, and so on. So the unraveling is sometimes a pretty, messy looking journey of some of these old drives starting to lose their centrality in the way that we function. And some people just find they can't get off the couch for weeks. The drive falls away. They can't make themselves do the things that their mind has been telling them they should do. I had a beautiful moment where a number of years ago, where I would always go each year to this hippie festival, and one day I was going to go, but I just couldn't. The morning was there. My friend arrived. He had the van. We were ready to go. It just wouldn't. The body wouldn't move. I couldn't make it move anymore. And many of you have that experience in your awakening and awakened life.